Thank you, and welcome to this special screening of Twilight's Kiss, Suk Suk. It was released a few years ago. It's a pretty unique opportunity for us to honor one of the stalwarts of Hong Kong cinema. You might have seen earlier how we've long had a tradition of honoring some of the masters and some of the lesser known figures as well of the Hong Kong film industry, but all of them critical in making what Hong Kong cinema is to this day. So actually, the international news editor of Screen International, Michael Rosser, someone I'm also proud to call my friend, will do the honor of giving this award to tonight's honoree, Taibo. So please welcome to the stage Michael Rosser, international news editor for Screen International.
Thanks, Sam. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Rosser. I'm the Asia and Middle East editor for Screen International magazine, and it is my true honor to be here tonight to present the Star Asia Lifetime Achievement Award. This is a prestigious honor awarded to only true legends of Asian cinema and has previously been given here in New York to the likes of innovative filmmaker Zhu Hark, action choreographer Yuen Wu Ping, horror movie icon Takashi Shimizu, and the one and only Jackie Chan. And this year is no exception. The recipient of this year's honor first appeared on screen as a stuntman opposite none other than Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon, and earned a place on Jackie Chan's coveted stunt team, working on countless films together over 10 years. And the stories he's been telling me about those are hair-raising, I will tell you. I mean, he's since gone on to feature in around 200 titles, mainly in Hong Kong on films such as Police Story and Drunken Master 2, but also in Taiwan on the likes of Hu Xiaoshen's A City of Sadness, which won the Golden Lion at Venice. But after 50 years in the business, instead of taking it easy, he's tackling some of his most challenging roles to date, such as that of a secretly gay married man in Ray Yeung's Twilight Kiss, otherwise known as Suk Suk, for which he won Best Actor at the Golden Horse Awards, Hong Kong Film Awards, and several others. He remains a vital and versatile performer in films such as For Alice, which received its world premiere here yesterday, and he reunited with Ray Yeung on All Shall Be Well, a truly beautiful film that won the Teddy Award at the Berlin International Film Festival and received a warm and wonderful reception in this very theatre just last night. So it's no exaggeration to say that we cannot wait to see what he does next. It is therefore my great honor to present this year's Star Asia Lifetime Achievement Award to the extraordinary Taibo.
It's very heavy, huh? Okay. And 大家好，我係泰保，我參與過將近300部電影嘅。
Hello, I am Taibo. I've worked on over 300 films.
你可能睇過我嘅電影。
You may have seen some of my work.
18歲我入電影圈，從幕後做起，我做過場記、導演，亦做過武師。
At 18, I entered the film industry, working behind the scenes from script supervisor to director to action choreography and stuntman.
我演過好多動作片、喜劇，無數嘅小人物。喺我70歲嗰年，我第一次做主角，我攞咗我人生第一座男主角獎。
I've played in action films, comedies, and a multitude of characters, but at 70, I won my first role as a lead and received my first Best Actor in the process.
我嘅電影人生係好精彩又好勵志嘅。
My career has been exceptional and inspired.
我要多謝我親愛嘅家人同埋朋友。
I have to thank my loving family and friends.
我要多謝每一位同我合作過嘅導演同埋合作伙伴。
and all the directors that I've worked with in the past, and the crew and colleagues.
多謝你哋點供我喺呢個舞台上。
Thank you for lifting me up on this stage.
多謝大會亞洲電影節，因為呢個獎我可能呢打算拍多20年。
Thank you, New York Asian Film Festival. Because of this award, I plan on filming for another 20 years.
Oh yeah! Thank you.
I'm Stevie Wong, and I'm going to be your moderator and translator for the day. Yeah, it's a lot. But first, I want to introduce the director and the cast. So first up, can we get Ray Yeung up here, the director of the film, TWILIGHT'S KISS? And then following, it would be Taibo, the lead. Suk himself. And Patra Ao. So if we can start with Ray first. I feel like I'm gonna. If we can start with Ray, can you talk about how a film like this kind of brought you back to Asia? Because prior to this, you had made a couple of films in the US. And what was it about this story or kind of inspired you to kind of return back to Asia?
Well, actually, 2015, I decided to move back to Hong Kong, mainly with the purpose of making a Cantonese movie, because originally I'm from Hong Kong, but the two movies I made before were in English. But because I can't write Chinese, so that was very difficult for me. But I was determined to make a Cantonese movie, so I moved back, and I was researching for a topic, and then I came across a book called The Oral Histories of Older Gay Men in Hong Kong by Dr. Travis Kwong, a Hong Kong University professor. And basically the book is oral documentation of 12 interviews of older gay men, mostly in the closet, around the age of 60 or 70 years old. And I thought the book was so interesting, so I asked Travis whether he could introduce me to some of those interviewees. So Travis said some of them passed away already. So I felt, wow, there's a real urgency to tell this story. So I met up with some of them, sort of like became friends really, and then sort of like inspire me to write this script.
To write the script, you also, obviously the character of Suk Suk is so important. What were you looking for in terms of that role? And then how did you come with Taibo as the lead? Because prior to that, he has been doing other types of roles, and so this is a bit of a definite change for someone like him.
Yes, because the age group is around 60 or over, so actors of that age group, usually they were already been working in the industry for a long time, and when they were young, they were mostly doing Shaw Brothers, doing very macho kind of roles. So when I approached a lot of them, they turned me down right away. They just didn't want to play a gay part. And then the ones who said that they might be interested, they said that I certainly do not want to kiss another man. I do not want to hold another man. I do not want to take my top off. So it makes it really difficult. So it took me a whole year to look for the right actor. So I saw Taibo in a movie, and then I thought he was very good in it, very, very natural. And I found out that he was living in Taiwan at the time. So I actually flew to Taiwan and contacted him, basically cold call actually. So he had no idea who I was. And then I just said, oh, I'm just really interested in your work. Do you mind coming to Taipei to meet me? And he was actually shooting in Kaohsiung at the time. So he was kind enough to come up and meet me. And then the rest is history.
Actually, Taibo, if I can ask you, what was the first conversation like when Ray came to you saying he had a part for you, and then he tells you, I would like you to play a man in his 60s or 70s as a gay man. And so what was that like for you when he presented that film? 即係第一次俾你即係講個角色俾你聽，你有啲咩感受咧？
其實我拍每一部戲呢，都係講緣分嘅。咁呢個緣分就係開始就係同阿 Ray 拍咗呢部叔叔， 咁好多謝佢拍咗一部咁好嘅電影啦啊！咁
He's worked with, he believes everything is based on destiny, and especially in the case with Ray, he's just very grateful and happy that he got to make a film like this.
咁我掌握嗰個角色呢，就應該好似廚師煮飯咁，你加得多就味道未必好嘅。所以我係逐啲去了解導演，而去完成呢部電影。
He hearkens the decision to cooking as a chef. If you add too much, the taste might not be as good, and so he took his time to make the decision to take this role. Is that true? Did he take his time to get back to you, Ray? Is that?
Well, yes, because I think I approached him in December, and then he got back to me in February, so it took 2 months. I asked him why it took him so long. He said he has to ask his wife for her permission. 你係咪啊？我問你點解要2個月先至同我答費啦？話要你問過你老婆。
老婆 OK 咗先 OK 㗎係嘛？
因為老實講，我拍好多戲，但係呢個角色呢，咁梗係啦，要多謝導演啦，佢咁大膽揾我去做喎。咁佢話我要拍一個60幾歲嘅老人嘅同性嘅電影，我話我話你點揾到我嘅呢？佢話佢睇咗部戲。佢覺得我好適合，咁我梗係翻去問下我老婆，我要拍呢個戲，你認為點啊？你咩角色都做過啦，不如你可以試下啦。咁我啲仔女話：老豆你掂唔掂㗎？咁我卒之呢就見到導演啦，然後。佢真係好有耐心，等咗我幾個月，但我唔知㗎。咁我問佢拍咗未？佢話未啊。咁我好啦，咁我試下得唔得啦？咁我就最緊要就話俾你聽，我話有冇咩好激情嘅嗰一場戲啊？佢話冇㗎，我哋唔係拍4級片。咁我就好放心去飾演導演。裏邊嘅拍嘅嗰個角色，咁我梗係照住嗰個程序照住個劇本嘅程序而去用我嘅演繹方式去做拍。
Wow, that's a big answer. So he did ask his wife. Basically, when Ray first asked him to play the role, his first question to him is like, "Why me?" And how did you even find me? You know, like, and it turns out that Ray had seen him in a film and felt that the role that he played in the other film suited the kind of energy that he needed for this role. And when he asked his wife, she says, "You know, you've played everything in your career at this point. Why don't you try this?" But his kids were like, "Dad, are you sure you can play this role?" And he didn't realize that the director had waited for him. And one day he called and checked to see, "Hey, have you started filming this film?" And the director said, "No, we haven't started yet." And he had one question. It was like, "I just want to make sure that there aren't any explicit scenes in this movie." And Ray's response was, "We're not making a porno, so." Sure, let's make the movie. And so he was very happy to take on the role after that. And from then onwards, it was based on the script that was such a strong script that he appreciated so much. Ray, do you want to add on to that?
咁其實就sorry.
I'm like, man speaks English. It's like,
so because I feel your translation is so good, so I just decided, yeah. No, because I think that once when he came on board, he was very game. I mean, of course, in the movie there are scenes that you guys have seen that they have lovemaking with the other character, but I think both Tybo and Ben, the other actor, they were very game. Even though that is something that they were quite nervous about the day that we were shooting. Both of them were chain smoking outside the studio.
Prepping for. And can I ask how you connected with Patra then? Because I know that prior to she wasn't hadn't done a lot of films, and so I'm just curious how did you.
Yeah, because at that time, as I said, at 2015, when I first moved back to Hong Kong, I actually didn't really know anybody in the film industry. So I was cold calling everybody, like Tybo, I was cold calling him. And then Patra was that I cold called the Hong Kong Rap Theatre Company, and basically just said that, I am interested in an actress who around this age group. Do you have any recommendations? So the manager of the theatre company introduced Patra to me, and then I met up with her, and then decided that, oh wow, she's the one. But I was very cheeky because she hasn't done any movies before. She was a very veteran theatre actress. So I said, oh, I really like you, but do you mind do a screen test for me?
So Patra, what was it like when you first met with Ray, and kind of the conversations that he had about the character that he wanted you to play?
Well, it was out of curiosity that I went. I've never been in movies. I've been on stage for many years, and it's the first time that someone called me concerning making a film. So I was kind of nervous because I was told that this woman is in her late 60s, early 60s or late 60s, and playing housewife. So on that day, I go with a very black dress. I'm the kind of person who likes to dress up. And on that day, no makeup, not even lipstick. And I went there for me, I feel like I'm going there like a hack. And then we talked and talked and talked for a very long time. And he gave me the script. I went home and read it, and I have questions, and I asked him. We actually go to and fro for, a couple of times before he asked me for a screen test. And oh my God, I haven't had an audition for many, many years. I mean, because I'm a veteran, they don't ask me for auditions. They just say, they usually just call me if they have a role, say, come on, are you interested? This is a role, because mostly I know them and they know, what I can do. So, wow, my God, audition after that many years, I was kind of a little nervous, very nervous. So, but I went to the wet market to buy a costume for myself. And then on the day in question, I make sure that I look the part before the screen test. So the rest is history.
Ray, I want to ask, because the chemistry of your cast is so strong, and you have here two people who, especially on stage, and also the man who plays his partner. But how did you make sure that this was going to work out? Because again, cameras start rolling, maybe things change. But what was your innate feeling of when you locked your cast in? What was it about these people that you're like, okay, these are going to be the ones that are going to tell my story?
First of all, because in Hong Kong, actually, a lot of the times when they shoot movies, they don't do rehearsals. But I actually told all the actors that you have to do rehearsals for this project, and it's actually in the contract that they have to give me 5 days rehearsal at least. And that is very important for me because it's not just of course they can all act, they're all brilliant, but I need to know how to communicate with them. And I feel that during the rehearsal process, I can find out how to talk to them and make sure that they understand what movie I am making, because they're all professional, they know how to act, but they need to know how to give me the performance that I want for this particular movie. So I think those days are very important, and also for the actors to get together to do workshops. I do a table read so that everybody are on the same page. They know that what movie we are making together. And then from there on, that I also give them a backstory, or the main characters, so and I also make them to read it out to each other so that they know that there's a shared history. They understand where every character is coming from. And from there, then I do workshops with them. So through these exercises that you can find out that the actors can quite quickly create a chemistry between them.
I got to ask Taibo then, the experience of rehearsing with the actors, workshopping for these 5 days, what was that experience like for you? 嗰日5日叫你練習同啲第二啲角色一齊做啲戲咧，即 create 嗰個 energy 或者嗰個 mood， 你嗰5日你覺得係點樣？因為之前拍啲戲可能冇咁多時間可以嚟 rehearsal 嗰啲嘢咯嚇。
其實我唔知，或者我有演戲嘅細胞啦嚇，咁好多戲俾我咧，我就係先諗我要點樣去表現呢個角色先。咁嗰5日同佢哋傾完偈之後，我都捉唔到咩頭緒嘅，係我每一日拍嘅時候，每一場戲，我會諗喺嗰個 script 嗰場戲裏邊講嘅係乜嘢，我盡量去寫出嚟嘅嘢，我盡量表達到，就係用我自己嘅方式。咁至於導演都好少話你咁做，好似未試過嚇。我連 mon 我都唔睇嘅。咁每一次拍完就 OK 咁啊 OK 拍完都已經拍完啦。OK。
So even though he's being humble, but he's basically saying that, you know, maybe I've got a little bit of an innate like kind of natural talent because during the rehearsal period, he didn't feel that it helped him too much, but because everything was on the script and a lot of it kind of developed on set, and whenever there was a scene, the goal was to kind of finish up the scene based on what he saw on the page. And as long as the director, who never corrected him during these scenes, said it was okay, then it was good. And every day was an okay, and next thing you know, the movie was done on his part. So that's kind of how he approached the film. Patra, I mean, like, I'm just curious, like, you know, as a theater actress, obviously rehearsal is extremely important. And so what was it like to now translate that to a film-like situation?
Okay, I was kind of very, anxious and a little panicked because stage acting is very different from movie acting. But Ray gave me a very good hint. He said he wants someone who, you know, he wants the Yasujiro Ozu kind of acting. And immediately, it dawned on me that I took a course many, many years ago on Yasujiro Ozu, and I watched some of his films, and I know what that means. So once on set, I translate that kind of acting into the film acting, which means almost, it doesn't show on the face, but, you know, all the emotional journey through very tiny nuances shows the personality of that character. And it was that, but of course, Ray has to tell me, Gaman, you have to stop frowning. You have to speak more softly with less energy. So I kind of, if stage acting is like 100% energy so that the audience will feel your energy, movie acting is like 10 to 20% of that, depending on the scene. So that's how I transist from stage acting to movie acting.
Ray, we talked about this a little bit in private, but I was curious about, especially those scenes in the bathhouse where the men are kind of eating and they're just kind of like literally naked, both emotionally and also kind of physically. And I'm just curious, like, what was that like for you to shoot? And I know you did some research where, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so through the interviews with those older gay men, I find out that there is a gay sauna in Hong Kong, in TST area, which cater especially for older gentlemen. So I went there to visit, and I was quite surprised when I saw that they were laying out all this food on the table. And then I asked them, they said, oh yeah, we serve food as well. So I decided to join them, and then I sat down, and then, of course, it's a sauna, so everybody was just wearing a towel, sort of topless, which is already quite bizarre. And I was eating with all these strangers, but they were very, very kind of warm, because although they never met me before, they would make sure that I was able to reach over and get whatever dishes that I wanted. So they would say, oh, have some chicken, and are you able to pick this food? So I thought, wow, this is so interesting. Although these people are strangers, but at this particular moment, they are having dinner like it's a family. And the reason is because a lot of these men, they are actually, during the day, a lot of them are married and have their own families, live in a heterosexual environment. But with those 2 or 3 hours when they visit this gay sauna, they can be themselves. So in those 2 or 3 hours, they were very happy to be able to drop any kind of pretenses and just truly be themselves. And therefore, that's why they were very open and warm. And they were talking to each other like they are old friends, although they might just met on that table. So I thought this is something that is unique, and therefore I decided to put that into the movie.
I love how while you're talking, the only thing I'm asking in my head is going, is the food good in a gay sauna? Is the food good in a, like, I'm like
it's very homely. It's a home cooking, yes.
Yes. Taibo, let me ask in English first, but like, obviously in the sauna, there was a lot of intimate moments with the man who plays your partner. And I'm just curious, like, what was it like for you in those scenes to kind of reenact falling in love and having these kind of moments with him? And did you learn anything about yourself in the process about like, physicality between men, like it doesn't have to be gay or straight, but just kind of like the closeness that men can kind of experience when they're together. 即係兩個男人，即係你拍嗰啲 scenes 嗰陣時，你有冇即係發現男同男之間唔需要同性戀嘅，但係一個即係嗰個 physical 嗰個 emotion 可以 open 啲？你有冇學到啲嘢咧？
其實嗰啲地方我都係第一次去嘅。咁我去到導演就安排咗好多男性嘅演員啦，大家就上身就除晒㗎啦。我已經喺度諗緊，到底佢哋，因為我有一 part 就係我經過嗰個走廊呢，就見到好多男仔咁，即係我覺得好新奇咯，因為可能係20-30年前，我後生嗰陣時有個咁嘅經驗啊，即係阿柏啦嚇，唔係我啊。我覺得我要點去演繹呢？到如果真係有一個阿 Ben 同我一齊兩個，我係點樣？我喺度我捉唔到嗰個情緒嘅。咁啊，去到現場，我哋兩個開始拍嗰陣時，我就好似好自然咁投入㗎啦。啊，可能係落咗苦。不過 anyway， 係我一個好大嘅一個經驗嚟㗎。所以好在我拍完呢部戲，我都仲係男仔嚟嘅。永遠都係。
It was the first time actually shooting, being in a sauna for Taibo when they started shooting, and Ray had cast a lot of adult men who were clad in towels during those scenes, and especially when the character was walking down the hallway, it was interesting for him to kind of experience a world where his character was going through the kind of emotions and thoughts that that the character does, and it helped him in a sense because it was a visual that allowed him to kind of get more involved in the character in the process. It also allowed him to think like, what if he was 20 or 30 years like younger, and what that would be like, and now he's as an elder, what those thoughts are. And so it wasn't until Ben and him on site shooting that he felt, especially in those scenes, prior to it, maybe he felt a little bit trepidatious, but like when they finally got to the set, it felt really natural, and it was a wonderful experience in the process. Patra, like it's the role that you play is an interesting one. I'm just curious, like, there, especially in that generation, there's a lot of women who probably married men who had other lives, and I'm just curious. After the movie came out, did you have any interactions with people who told you their stories, and like, was there any kind of like experience where people like kind of came to you, like privately, and they said, hey, I know somebody, or this is my story, or like, was there anything like that you experienced when this film came out?
Unfortunately, no. Yeah. The women won't come up to me and tell me these stories because I'm a stranger. And Chinese women are much more conservative, and if they have a husband who is on the side gay, I'm pretty sure they don't want to touch that area. It's like a taboo that they're not going to mention. So no, nobody talked to me about those things.
So I'm sure people would love to talk to you. I mean, this is not like a thing that's not. We're running out of time. We could talk some more, but what I want to end with is that after working on this film for you, Ray, you've continued to work with these lovely actors, and I'm just curious, like, while you were making this film, where you're like, okay, now I'm starting to get my own troupe of sorts, and it's really lovely to have that. And so just curious, like, when you were casting for your next film, here you have your two of your leads, and I'm just curious, like, what was that like? Are these the people that you're going to kind of continue on and work with?
Well, when I was writing the script for All Shall Be Well, I think to a certain extent, because that was exactly around the time that Twilight's Kiss was being released in Hong Kong. And while I was writing that script, I was seeing Tybo and Patra quite a lot, because we have to do a lot of the Q&A. And so we became friends and quite close. And so when I was writing the script, I very much have them in mind for those characters, for Angie and Chang as well. So, and yes, I think we have a very good relationship, so we will continue working together if the opportunities come up.
We look forward to seeing you guys do this. It's really, really wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thank you.